Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by Rebecca Bartlett, and we're going to look at Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. This dropped like less than 5 minutes ago and already has several thousand views and many upvotes, which has me inclined to believe that maybe it's good. Maybe it's wickedly awesome. So I'm not a horror person, and she's always playing a villain in horror movies. So we're going to go off of that and give you our 2 cents. Here we go.
Do you remember the night we met?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been witness to the unspeakable horrors of the defendant's heinous crimes. You have seen ghastly injuries, smashed in faces, broken jaws.
I love these actors.
Will the defendant please rise?
For years, I've carried this guilt that I'm to blame for everything. If only I hadn't trusted you.
Promise you'll never leave me, Liz.
It's about another missing girl, isn't it? Ted, did you do it?
No.
We've got a very disturbed, sick individual.
You will be the first nationally televised trial in history.
You look nice, partner.
I'm disguised as an attorney today.
I get very scared, but, he's also really dreamy.
There are things you don't know that will shock you beyond your worst nightmares.
It's all a lie.
It is a capital murder case, and you are skating on thin ice.
This is about catching a monster.
I wish I could take it all back. What about me? I love you. Get out!
The killings were extremely wicked, shockingly evil, vile.
Did you do these things, Ted?
This is all gonna end.
It's only gonna end with the truth.
Creepy. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's really, really fascinating how these people, like Ted Bundy, are super charismatic, and that's why they were able to get away with so much. There was some controversy around the first trailer because there was this sense that he was being sensationalized. Now,
glorified.
I haven't seen the first trailer, but I already knew going in, just from hearing about the movie, I was like, I know where this is going. I know exactly what they're trying to do. And they're trying to have an honest portrayal of Ted Bundy. They're trying to have an honest portrayal of someone who was wickedly charming, and that's how he was able to get away with so much. And you hear about these guys all the time, like the most heinous people, like Adolf Hitler. Like, he was one of the most charismatic people, and that's why he was able to do what he did.
Shakespearean lessons and things so that he could speak in a way that was mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Poetic.
Yeah.
And that's so, I think that it is hard to show that because obviously people are going to be pissed that there are women literally throwing themselves at a murderer.
Yeah.
But it's what happened.
It's what happened.
It's
true.
It's
the truth. Yeah. I agree with you. That's craziness. Yeah. I struggled with things like this for a while, not now, but before, because it used to frustrate me that we would kind of sensationalize these people who were heinous characters, right? And I'm like, how come we never celebrate the people who are actually contributing good to our society? I have had to come around to the notion that they're just interesting to watch.
Sure.
Like, these stories are just very interesting to watch because you want to understand the psyche of someone that is totally not you.
Right.
It's like just trying to wrap your head around how someone was not only that charismatic, but able to get away with these things and be comfortable with doing these things. Like, it's so foreign that you have to pay attention. You can't help but hone in on that and be like, what the hell? I've done my research on, I don't know if it was Ted Bundy or someone else. Is it Ted Bundy who was able to break out of custody many times?
Yes, Ted Bundy.
Okay, so if I'm remembering correctly, at one point he went to the restroom and jumped out of the bathroom window, broke his leg, and ran off. Dude was nuts. There's a French movie.
Terrifying.
I'll have to find out the name of this French film later on. Mezzarine or something like that, about a guy who, it was this crazy crime lord in France, I think, and escaped prison 3 times. Like these people who were like charismatic and escaped prison, and they're like that good on that, like, what's his name, of Colombia?
Pablo Escobar?
Pablo Escobar,
Yes.
yeah. As soon as the camera's rolling, that's when all the information leaves your brain, right?
Yeah.
He was charismatic, and he managed to break out of prison as well, I believe. And so, like...
Probably with help, he did.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy, I don't know.
Ted Bundy was just a man unto himself. Like, isn't he the one who took seats out of his car? Like,
yes, I think so. I don't know. I mean, I have to do my research on that too, but
Yeah.
because there's something on Netflix with him right now that's a documentary.
Yeah.
And it's wild, like the attention that these, I mean, they say sociopaths are often very charming and manipulative,
Yeah.
but what's really interesting to me is that a lot of these women and people who were attracted and interested in him, they were so after he was already being like convicted of these things, which means they were finding it. It's not like he was super charming, they met him, then later were like, oh, he's a murderer. They knew he was a murderer, or I guess not officially, but they assumed allegedly that he was a murderer, and they were still attracted to him.
Yeah.
It's wild. But there's that show You. Have you watched that on Netflix?
No, but I try to wrap my head around that idea as well.
Oh no!
That's what happens when you don't put your phone on silent. Go ahead.
Should we see who it is?
Yeah. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Oh, let's hope not. I do love those actors though. Like Lily Collins. Have you seen Lily Collins in anything recently?
No.
I think she's a chameleon. I saw her in a movie called To the Bone, and then I saw her in a movie called Love, Rosie.
Okay.
And she's so drastically different. Like one of them, she's very sweet, loving, has this innocence about her, and the other, she's very like dark, sarcastic, tortured. I think those two aspects that I've seen of her in other films, in this one is gonna be amazing. Because she seems to be innocent going in and then loses that innocence as she discovers who he really is.
Well, I wanna talk about what you just mentioned a second ago about these women who are attracted to this guy who's potentially guilty of some pretty heinous stuff. And they go out and they seek him out anyway. And this kind of thing happens, like you have a lot of people who write to people in prison. And I was very fascinated by this notion of starting to date someone who is either about to be convicted or is convicted of crimes. And at one point, you know, we all have our interesting moments in life where we're like a little bit lonely. I decided to research it myself. And there's actually like a lot of beautiful women behind bars. And for a split second, I thought about writing to them. Just out of curiosity, like what's the worst that could happen? They're behind bars. It's not like they can hurt you, you know?
I don't know. I mean, Ted Bundy escaped. You
That's
never
true.
know.
That is true.
But I do think
that is pretty ignorant on my part to even think such a thing.
But who knows? I mean, there's something really romantic about that forbidden love.
Right.
That I think is an element of...
Well, I wouldn't say romantic, but intriguing.
Intriguing,
Yeah.
yes. But I mean, it's an element of everything from like Shakespeare to contemporary literature to half the films we see. I mean, there's something about that.
Right.
That forbidden attraction. You know, sleeping with the enemy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the bad boy syndrome. And I
Yeah.
think you can get it with both sexes, but I think it more often happens with women than with guys, just statistically. Right? I mean, how often do you hear about the notion of a guy going after a bad girl, like who's literally committed crimes? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and maybe it does happen more often, it's just not spoken about. But I want to touch on the fact that Zac Efron is playing this role, and I think that he's perfect. Like, he's
handsome.
He's very handsome, and he's obviously charming. I've heard of comedians or actors who have spoken with him, who've worked with him, and they want to hate him. I think it was Seth Rogen who was like, I wanted to hate him, but he was so nice. I couldn't hate him. He was just such a cool guy. And so everything I've heard about Zac Efron has been nothing short of positive.
Right.
And so for him to play this role, it's like, that's cool because like he's stepping outside of his normal comfort area from what I'm familiar with. Like everything I've seen of him so far has been mostly comedy and innocent. So this is the first time I'm seeing him play something so this, you know? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this.
Definitely.
I'm wondering if this is gonna have a theatrical run before it hits Netflix directly, because I've heard Netflix has been doing that more often these days, where they give it like a short limited release in order to compete for the Academy Awards and whatnot.
Right.
And then eventually it goes to Netflix like within several days or whatever.
I heard there was a debate about that, whether streamed films should be considered. Some people were arguing if they should be considered
Christopher Nolan doesn't want it to be considered.
Right,
apparently.
right.
Yeah, this was a debate that happened on my live stream the other day.
Oh, and I wonder what the holdup is there. Do you see movies as separate if they're streamed or seen in theaters?
I haven't decided yet. I have mixed feelings about it because the fact of the matter is putting something in theaters just long enough to qualify is a little different than that being where you get most of your ticket sales.
The medium, right?
Yeah, I think I understand where Christopher Nolan's coming from because the theatrical experience is fundamentally different from watching something on your phone. Like, it's just, I mean, maybe if you got Beats by Dre, it's a little... it's comparable.
You
I don't know.
have surround sound right here.
But I mean, there are headphones where you can get 7.1 sound, but I don't think it's the same. It's like that experience, the communal experience of being in a theater, in the dark room with people. It's different. What I would hope is that Netflix pushes it a little further, takes it to 3 months. Instead of a week, do like at least a month, 1 to 3 months of that run before you take it to streaming, because then to me it's a stronger qualifier for the Academy Awards, and there's less of a debate there as to whether or not it should qualify.
Sure.
But when you're really just doing it as a nod, like, oh yeah, we'll do this just so we did the thing, and now we can qualify for some awards, and it's no, I'm an old fogey when it comes to that kind of stuff, like Nolan, but like if I was 19, I wouldn't give a shit.
But the theatrical experience, I think, is something that we have to find a way to protect in some regard. I do think it's a different experience than being at home where you can pause a movie, right? And being at home where you can be interrupted and distracted. I think going in and sitting and taking in an experience, a theatrical experience, it's powerful. And I do think it's special. And I do think there are ways that we can really protect that and stress its importance. Yeah. And maybe that's what Christopher Nolan's trying to do, but we'll see.
I agree with you, except with kids' movies.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about interrupting you there.
No.
Anyways, I found this very interesting. You guys, let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comments below and your thoughts on the trailer. Would love to know what you think. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Rebecca. She's on the social media, hanging out there, waiting for you to say hi. And check out other reactions, reviews, short films, and vlogs. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Rebecca Bartlett.
It's always the first one where people are like, wait, that's me, right?
Oh, wait, that's my name.
Peace out.
What's my name?